or there we go. My name is Coach Kristina, or the Money Lady, is what CEO Chicks and my friends have lovingly given me the name, and I love that because honestly, all things financial. That's my passion. I think that's what God put me on this earth for, truthfully, and really, when I was younger, I used to, probably like all of you guys, we have this thirst and knowledge for more knowledge. And mine was always around, money and financial and all these different things. I just always wanted to learn more. And so my goal today is really to just be a giver. I want to give back. I want to be able to really talk through some things that are going on in the financial world that really will help you not only create a blueprint for yourself, but give you access to literally a plethora of information to help you make some of the right decisions. So, I always like to start off with, we're all in this chat. Write some things in there that you'd like to learn about today. You guys all got the narrative of some topics I'm going to hit on, but if there is something that you would like to hear or learn more about, make sure you drop some information, some notes, some nuggets in there, so that way I can kind of touch base on it as I go through my presentation today. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Once you see it, if you could do me a favor and just give me a thumbs up, or I see it, or whatever that we can do. I need the host to, there we go. Thank you so much for allowing me to share my screen there. Perfect. So again, if you would just take a moment, give me the thumbs up or any of those sort of things. If you do see my screen, I'll appreciate it, or text in the group there. Hey, I see it. I see it. Those sort of things. Perfect. All right. All right. Well, thank you so much for that. So let's talk about mastering your money today, right? Mastering your money. What does that mean to you? Do you have control of what's going on with your money, or is your money kind of controlling you and telling you what to do every single month? My goal today is to really take us to a point where we're making the right decisions to be the master over our money. We always put God first in our life, but really finances was what runs the world. And I want to make sure that every woman on this call is in a great position to not only have a good area and background and knowledge, but also be able to take actionable items to move you forward. All right. And so here's the thing. Financial planning is different for women. And I'm just going to be real honest here, right? It is different for each and every one of us. And we have different challenges than our men counterparts. If you read some of the statistics that are out there, women entrepreneurs are becoming some of the largest, fastest growing market segment in the world right now. But the truth of the matter is we're starting to control a lot of other things too. 91% of purchases, new home purchases, are now made by women every single year. Right? We are making huge financial decisions for our families that, guess what, 20, 30, 40 years ago, that statistic wasn't the same. Those decisions were being made by men. But here's three things that really impact some of the things that we are doing in our finances, and really what I'm passionate about. These three things right here is the main reason why I do what I do. Number one, we live longer. So do you know that the statistics just came out earlier this summer that they are planning for the average woman in the United States to live to age 95 for my generation? I want to say the 40 to 50-year-olds. 95 years old. That means if you retire at, let's say, the normal retirement age, which is 65, you're going to spend 30 to 40 years in retirement. That is literally you thinking about living to age 100. I know many of us have grandparents that are turning 100 years old or getting close to that number. Well, guess what? With technology and the way healthcare has evolved, we need to be planning to live longer. We love our families. Why did I put this here? Because guess what? We use our money and our time to benefit our families, not only while our kids are growing up. So when your kid calls because they're sick at home or any of those sort of things, who takes off work? Who goes and gets the kids, right? Who is the one that stays home with them that period of time? Now, I'm not saying men don't do it, But most of the time, we are the caregivers that take the time off of what we're doing in order to make that happen. The same happens for our parents, right? And what I mean by that is, as our parents get older and they're aging and those sort of things, who's going to take care of them? Who's helping them? A lot of times it's us as women who make that decision to cut back at work or do something different in order to be able to care for our parents. Why is that so important? It's because guess what? We have a shorter work length to make the amount of money that we need to make in order to save it, to utilize it for the future. And then guess what? The last thing I'm going to put is investing scares us. So there's a study out there called the confidence gap. Okay. Now, listen, you guys are all women entrepreneurs. I know we take a lot of risk, calculated risk, in order to make some good financial decisions for our family. But really, when it comes to investing, it is still an area for most women that is scary. We're not sure what to do, how to do it, where do we get advice, which direction we move. And the truth is, a lot of times we're not making decisions from a financial perspective when it comes to investing in order to put us in the right position later on. Men, the average male starts investing generally in their early 30s. For women, it is mid 40s. So we don't need to wait 15 years to jump on board. We got to get in there earlier because we have some other major factors that are hindering us from that growth long term. So first of all, it's never been easier to invest than it is now. So I see some things coming up in the chat. Thank you so much. And I'm going to get to some of these things as we go there. It's never been easier for us to invest. We have so much information out there and tools out there to help you be successful, right? So there is what we call, and some of these things are going to be nerdy terms to you guys. Please don't get too into the weeds. But for the most part, I want you to understand a general overview of what they are. So we have fintech. Fintech are like your apps where you go and invest, something like Robinhood, or maybe your apps where you're going and checking your budget, like mint.com, or websites where you're doing that. Those are what we call fintech companies, right? In addition to that, we're going to talk a lot about some AI today, not only how companies are using it to gather data and information, but how you can use it individually to make some smart and start some smart financial decisions. But there, Google any topic you want to on financial information, and you're going to find a plethora of things to help you get set up right when you start to work on your finances. We all have access to the tools and the information really to create a very financial plan for our futures. So I thought this statistic was very interesting. And another reason why I think it's important that women really have this conversation at a deeper level. 80% of men are going to die married, but 80% of women are going to die single. So even if you're in a household where there's a husband and wife, right, and whether you're jointly sharing finances, whether he can plans more or whether you're planning more, you got to remember at some point, more than likely, a lot of that responsibility is going to come on you. So you do need to understand where you're at and what is going on. No one is going to care about your money. Nobody's going to make that decisions or those hard decisions more than you. All right, let's jump in here. So let's talk about what a financial plan should look like. Okay, what should a financial plan look like? One for anybody is always understanding your risk tolerance. All right, always understanding your risk tolerance. I want to make sure everybody can hear me still okay. And just give me a thumbs up if you guys are all good. Perfect. Okay. Understanding your risk tolerance is one of the first keys you have to know when it comes to investing. We're going to dive into that a little bit deeper in these next couple of slides. Step 2, utilizing the technology. Ladies, it's right here. We all have access to it each and every day. Don't ignore just little things that you can do to put yourself on the right financial path. It is going to take some discipline to pay attention to it, meaning you got to check it, you got to check your progress, but you definitely have all the tools available to make yourself successful. And then creating a roadmap to a financial roadmap for the future. So what are the steps you need to take in order to make all of those things work in your favor? So we're going to start with step one, risk management. Navigating market fluctuations and making well-informed decisions. When it comes to risk management, there's really two things I want to say here, okay? Number one, it's your time frame, okay? So when you're thinking about risk management, you're depending on when you need this money is how risky it should be, all right? So if you are going to need this money in the next year, you're not going to put that money in the stock market and try to earn some sort of short-term gain, because the truth is you could also have a loss, right? It's money that you need in the next year. That's what we really more call emergency funds and those sort of things. You want to make sure those are earning money, but you don't want them in the market. And when I mean earn money, you know, for the first time in the last 15 years, savings accounts are doing better. Money markets are doing better. CDs are being offered at decent rates at the bank again. Don't let your cash just sit and earn nothing, because guess who's making money off of you? The banks, okay? Your money is not sitting there doing nothing. The banks are utilizing that money to lend it out to other people. They're gaining interest on it, or what they're getting back from people. They invest that money. They're making money, so you need to make some money too. Okay. Medium risk, I would say 3 to 10 years. You know, if you're like me, maybe that's kids going to college, those sort of things. You need to invest that money, but you got to probably be a little bit more conservative because you're going to need it over the next 3 to 10 years. And then long term, 10 years or more, that's money that is really for our retirement and our future. We need to be thinking about that because we're all going to go there. But ultimately, that is more longer term money, and that's really what should be invested money. The other part of risk management is losing money. Listen, you all, again, many of you are entrepreneurs or even successful in your own right in corporate America, right? Losing money is one of the biggest things that I discuss in risk management, because when you make an investment in your career, an investment in your business, there is a possibility to lose money. When you buy a house, when you invest in the stock market, right? All of those have investment risk that come with it. You have to decide how much are you willing to risk, okay? And again, all of your money may not be the same. I may invest in a real estate transaction where, you know, for the most part, I feel like it's relatively safer, but I do know I lose access to that money for a while. And maybe I'm going to get rent from it, or I'm going to flip it at some point. But at the moment, I'm going to lose some access to it. That's the risk, right? Investing in the stock market, you need to decide, you know, are you prepared to watch your money drop maybe 30 or 40%? That's a very real thing, depending on what level of risk you want to take. Now, not all investments do that, okay? I want to be very clear about that. But depending how risk-oriented you are, I'm definitely more risk-oriented. So sometimes I'm okay with seeing my account drop maybe 20% in a down year, if we use last year as an example. But I'm also ready for the upswing that comes from that over the next 2 to 3 years. And again, I'm not touching that money right now. So I'm okay with it being down if I know they have the expectation that over the next 2 to 3 years, I'm going to make not only that money back, but a lot more. Okay. So your level of losing money. Now, listen, I'm a financial advisor. You never expect a financial advisor to say, you're going to lose money. Yes, it is an investment. There is a risk associated with that. And I don't want anybody to feel like, oh, we can't, when you invest, that's never going to happen. Sometimes it does. It's just money that you need to figure out how to align right to your goals. Okay. So technology. I'm getting to some of those basics. I wanted to get those out of the way first, but I really want to talk about the technology that is out there to help you be successful. So first and foremost, you know, there's websites, apps, and now AI, right? So there are all kinds of websites you can go to create your budget. You can do investing. You can do, oops, somebody needs to mute there. There we go. You can do investing through any of those websites. There's all kinds of companies that allow you to do self-investing. So there, like I said, there's a plethora of information out there in order to just go to your own website, create your own portfolio, and begin to build from there. Most companies do already use AI technology to help you build a portfolio very easily. They'll just ask you some questions, say, hey, how old are you? When do you need this money? What is your risk level? And then guess what? You plug that information in again, and then they'll pop up. Okay, we think based on what you said, here's the right investments for you. Now, there's also apps, right? I'll use Robinhood for a second. That became a very popular app over the last couple of years. I won't say last couple of years, maybe the last 5 to 7 years, because you could just put your money in and then you kind of just forgot it, right? It invested it in some stocks and those sort of things. So again, very easy way to start investing. There's more than just them. I'm just using them as an example. Very easy way to start investing and get your foot in the door. Okay. And now we have AI technology. So in my opinion, AI technology is not only changing all industries, but it definitely is changing the financial world too. Even my own company, right? We have all these programs and platforms that we work from and utilize, but there is a lot of AI technology behind those platforms to say, hey, look at client A. Client A has this, for lack of better wording, profile and these investments. So this client looks very similar to these other 10 clients. You should probably contact them in order to tell them we should do adjustments based on this. That's the idea of the AI technology. It's giving you, based on the information you give it, it's spitting back out to you what it would be a good idea for you. Now I will tell you, it's always going to probably tell you, seek the advice of a financial advisor, those sort of things. We'll talk about when to get to those strategic relationships. But listen, if you haven't downloaded ChatGPT or any of those AI technology ones, and literally, I'll pull up mine right now and I will say, how much does a 50-year-old need to save for retirement monthly? And literally, I'll put that in there and it will spit back out to me. I'm going to read it to you verbatim. That depends on several factors, such as desired retirement age, expected expenses during retirement, and anticipated investment returns. However, a general rule of thumb is to save 10 to 15% of your income for retirement. Guess what? Right there, it already told you need to save 10 to 15% of your income. All right, let's ask it another question. Can you build me a diversified portfolio for a 45-year-old? And guess what? I already know, but I'll read it when it comes. It's going to spit back out to me. Absolutely. Would you like stocks, bonds, or other assets to add to the portfolio? Here are some suggested mutual funds. Fidelity S&P 500 fund. I mean, and then it kind of just lists down. Realistically, ladies, that's a game changer, right? Now, here's the thing. People are like, all right, well, do we need a financial advisor? I still believe you need a financial advisor. We'll talk about that, right? But to get you some basic information on the technology that is out there is highly important, right? So I thought this was very interesting. And again, I think if you're not even looking at this in your own industry, you really should, okay? Because it's going to impact every last one of our industries. About a month ago, there was an app that came out that allowed you to create a professional photo without having a professional photo shoot. I'm sure all of y'all saw it, okay? Gave you all kinds of different backgrounds and those sort of things, okay? So in plugging my photos into that, right? I plugged in some past photos. I plugged in some photos from today. It created a nice photo for me for my business, if that's what I wanted to use, right? I literally had some updated photos that I was going to take a couple of weeks later, right? So my point to that is, does that eliminate or erase photographers in the future? Are we going to need photographers? Are we going to need people to take our pictures? Well, in my opinion, yes, you still do, okay? Because for some reason, and I'll use my great friend Colleen, right? She can make me look so amazing in a photo, okay? And create brand content for me and all these other things. she is an enhancement to what I need to do for my business to really create the brand that I'm looking to do. I might get a photo or so from AI and those sort of things, but the truth of the matter is I feel like I still need the expert in that area to really cultivate the brand I'm trying to do. Okay. And those are things that you don't always get. Same on the financial advisor side. You're going to utilize these websites, AI technology. Okay. I can promise you we're using it as financial advisors to help us better serve our clients. So utilize that AI technology to really jump in and grasp what you need. Yes, somebody said it's Remy. I want to just make sure. Okay, I'm not missing any questions just yet. Perfect. I want to pause there for a second because I've kind of shared a lot of information. If you have questions, feel free, share them in the chat. Let's talk about what's important to you. But technology has really changed the game and given just the average investor a lot more information and a lot more access to tools to utilize that information and get started. I've had somebody ask me before, let's say I do use AI and I go in here and it tells me to do this, and this, and I'd like to execute that plan. Great. Look at one of the apps, go to the website, start your plan. That's really it. There's so many places that you can go and buy investments online. You can use pretty much every major investment firm across the board allows you to do what we call self-directed investing, meaning you can open an investment account online and you can ask it to buy, and it makes it very user-friendly. You can ask it to buy something that you need, okay? So all of those tools will utilize those for sure, okay? All right. So I see, I know we have a couple of coaches in here, Dr. Kita, Nikki, Tashay, Holly. I definitely want to jump in. You guys are experts in your field. And I really just want to hear for 2 seconds if you just want to jump in. Are you guys digging into AI? Has that changed your industry? What does that look like in the future? I think it's going to be a changer even for real estate and those sort of things. But realistically, what does that look like? Tasha, I saw you jump in there first. So I'm going to come to you first, if that's okay. Just share for a minute or two. How are you using AI?
Right now, I'm using AI for my content creation. So to have to refer to my books and stuff if I want to make sure that my content was right on point. But now with the ChatGPT, just like what you said, I put my information in there, what's the benefits of using laser hair removal? And boom, it gives me 8 bullet points. And so I take the ones that is pertinent to what I'm currently doing right now. And then I just need to add 1 or 2 things to what was being said. And I copy and paste, and then that's it. In addition to that, it helps with my presentation. So if I'm doing a workshop recently I did one for IV therapy. I did an outline, and then from that outline, I put in Chat GPT, and whatever I was missing, I went ahead and added that information in there because we don't know everything. We all are experts in our own field, right? But sometimes you don't, you don't have it all, and having Chat GPT is right there at your fingertips. You don't have to go dig in your books. I have a whole library full of books. I don't have to go there. Now, do I use that as a reference point? Absolutely. But if I want to go ahead and enhance what I'm already doing, is no better tool than using the AI technology.
Yeah, so you jump in there too. Go ahead. I want you to share also.
Hey, y'all. So what I've been using, I'm a real estate agent and also a relationship coach, excuse me. And so I've actually used it for both sides. So for the real estate side, I've been able to use it for some of the homes I'm listing. What I'll do is I'll kind of put my details of a home in there, and I'll ask ChatGPT to rewrite or usually I use the word rewrite this listing description for buyers to attract buyers. And I'll say it as specific as I could, and then it'll rewrite what I wrote And sometimes if I'm just stumped, I'll just ask it for something on an address, and then I'll rewrite it that way. Just because I don't want to copy and paste every detail. So I want to make sure it sounds like me, it flows the way I want it to flow.
Yes.
Target audience is important too. So that kind of thing. And then even after it gives me something, I may say, okay, shorten it. You know what I mean? Like I remember Coach Colleen had asked us for a bio when we became coaches. And so I put my bio in there, but I was like, this needs to be cleaned up. And so it made me sound so much better. And then she was like, this is too long. I said, okay. And then I just like shortened this bio. And so shortened it up and I sent it right over. For my relationship coaching side, I've used it to give me ideas on things to talk to my marriage ministry about, at church. And it'll just give me different ideas, because you, like Tashay said, you can't think of everything. You don't know what all is out there. You don't know what's relevant to today versus, your past experience. Because if you've been in a field forever, like things have changed. So yeah.
Absolutely. And listen, I don't know about you, for all those of you that are using AI already, it is such a time saver. I am a numbers girl, and I'm going to come back. I saw your message, Jacqueline, but I am a numbers girl. Writing out long things, it's not my thing. It's just not it. I don't like to do it. It takes me an absorbent amount of time because it's not what I do every day. So listen, if nothing else, even when it comes to investing with AI, people would spend years upon years upon years researching these investment choices, right? This thing is spitting it out in a matter of moments. And the truth is, I mean, they're not spitting out things that are like overly aggressive or for lack of a better word, crazy hot topic things. They're spitting out good investment things that realistically can help you achieve your goals for the long term. All right, a lot of you, Coach Colleen said, listen, what apps are people using? All of us have different industries, and AI, I believe, will have an app for almost every industry very soon. And so I want to encourage you, please drop what you're using in the chat there. That way we all have access to it. But in addition to that, as you're doing it, let us know not only what it is you're utilizing, but what does it do? What does that AI app do? Okay, that way we're all sharing, we're communicating together. That's part of this this goal of CEO Chicks, is to collaborate and really work together, all together, right? All right, so financial roadmap. So we talked about your risk tolerance, because you got to understand that first. We talked about tools and resources that you can utilize. Now let's create your financial roadmap. If you don't have pen and paper or some way to take notes, I know I always take notes on my phone. This is the time I would tell you to take some notes, okay? Number one is that this is your personal plan for financial success, okay? I always tell people, number one, you have to start with a foundation. You can't just open your accounts today and say, I want to just start investing, right? To me, that's not a smart way to invest. You need to have some foundational things in place. The two things that I usually look at the most first: do you have emergency cash? Meaning if your car breaks down tomorrow, or the heater in your house or AC in the house goes out, do you have cash to be able to pay for those repairs? Those are emergency situations in which you need cash for. Most financial advisors are going to recommend somewhere between 3 to 6 months of your income for emergency cash. The second thing I always say is a foundational item: life insurance. If somebody depends on you for their financial future, then you need to have life insurance. If you're married, if you have kids, honestly, even if you own a business, because you have employees, if you do have employees, that life insurance should be a part of your business structure, because those people are reliant on you being here, and their income is based on that. Then once you've built that foundation, now you start doing what I call your building blocks. I really want you to think of this as building a house, right? You cannot build, you got to have the foundation first, because that's what keeps your house sturdy. And then the blocks start building up the walls and the inside. And then, you get to all the fancy stuff, the decorations and all that sort of stuff. But building blocks, you need to start with establishing what your goals are. I revisit this every year because your goals change every year, right? So it could be that you're just trying to establish an emergency fund, or you're starting to look at investments, or you're building a retirement plan, or you're starting a Roth IRA. All those things are goals that you're establishing for some long-term or could be even medium-term future item, right? Some of it is investing in real estate or doing other things. I always like to reference that when you're establishing goals and you're thinking about money, we've all learned. How many of y'all played the game Monopoly? Just put a thumbs up if you played the game Monopoly before. You could do that in the chat or any of those sort of things, right? Many of us have played Monopoly before. Even some of y'all have probably played the game by Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I can't think of the name right now. But let me tell you, there are some basics in those games that taught us from an early age how to start early and build up, right? You just don't go to Boardwalk and buy it. That's generally not how it happens, or start putting 100 hotels on it. Generally, you brought the smaller properties or investments throughout the way to build up to the big one so that you can dominate in a certain area. And then once you get to Boardwalk and Park Place, you put all your houses on it, and now you've built something that is, for lack of better wording, a dominant monopoly in an area. It's no different with your finances, okay? You're establishing some goals to build some things that are going to get you to your financial future. You can't go from 0 to 100 in 1 second. You got to do that over a progression in time. Put them in time frame order. And what order is that important to you, right? So maybe, okay, we got to establish emergency fund. All right, now I want to focus on sending my kids to college. Now I want to focus on my retirement. Or again, we're all business owners and doing investments. I'd like to buy my first investment property in the next year or two. Well, guess what? You're going to need some cash flow for that. How is that going to happen? Okay. And then use technology to track your progress. So one of the biggest mistakes people make when they start financial planning is they kind of put something in place. They talked about it years and years ago. They never come back to it. Okay. The reason that's hard is because when you don't come back and track your progress, it's the same as your business, right? Do you let every quarter in your business go by and you don't evaluate whether you made money or not? Like, you have to do the same thing when you start doing investments. Again, whether stock market, real estate, whatever it is, you have to come back and evaluate the progress, and you need to do that consistently. This is not a set it and forget it situation. You got to see what's going on to see where you need to make the proper adjustments. All right. All right. So I kind of went through the major 3 steps. Here's the next thing I want to just kind of put out there as we begin to wrap up today. Again, if you have questions, start throwing them in the chat there. Want to make sure I'm giving you guys plenty of time to get your questions out there. When is the best time to create a strategic advisor partnership? So if you got all this technology and you've got websites and AI and apps, and you're utilizing all of those things to help you grow financially, when do you need a financial advisor? Or maybe even this, why do you need a financial advisor in the plan? Okay. So number one, I always say, when you build your financial plan and you're tracking your goals and progress, it's no different than, for lack of better wording, a coach that is helping you achieve those goals. Why do people hire coaches? Why do the best athletes in the world? They are the best athletes in the world. They know how to do what they do, right? But they will still hire a coach to help them navigate through new seasons, body changes, different times, different measurements. They do that on purpose because guess what? A coach, if I'm a coach, I'm telling you what you need to hear, not just what you want to hear, right? Again, when you have friends like Colleen and Jennifer and my, Evelyn, they don't always tell me what I want to hear. They're not my yes, ma'am, yes friends. They're not. They challenge me. That's the reason we're all such good friends. We challenge each other to be better people. And I don't mean that in a bad or harsh way. It is meant to be uplifting to each other. So if I, am looking spiritually to grow, or I'm looking to help build my family in a better place, or these sort of things, I go to these people that I trust to help help me get there. I've hired business coaches. I have a financial advisor because guess what? I don't want to have a blind spot, right? Your financial success, you're going to need to have somebody guide you through that. Now, people ask, well, when should you do that? When you start really saving and making some money, you got to do it early on. Okay. People always think, oh, you come to me to invest money, you come to me to invest money. You do. People do come to me and invest money. But that honestly is only about 10 to 15% of my business model. The other things I do really take up about 80 to 90% of my time. And here's some of those sort of things. I create financial relationships. So I work with legal and tax professionals to make sure that my client is doing what is in their best interest, not just only from an investing perspective, but from a long-term perspective. So I'll give you an example here. If you are a small business owner and you want to start investing, right? You can do that. You can start investing, start saving your money, start, really building up some wealth. Maybe you get a 50, 100,000 in an account. But guess what? On that 50, 100,000, now you're paying interest and capital gains every single year on that money. So here's where a financial advisor would reach out to a tax professional to say, hey, maybe we should start them a small business retirement plan. We can do the same investing and save them on taxes. Okay. My goal for all of my clients is to get them as close to the 0% tax bracket as possible, right? So I want them to make money. I just don't want them to pay the IRS 30 or 40% of that money, right? And so I'm working with those people to put the right things in place. Legal professionals, trust. Listen, wealthy people know how to transfer money to each other without paying taxes, right? And do it in an effective way that it will last generations to come. I am not an expert in legal advice, but I will definitely partner with legal professionals. I know a lot about it, but I'm going to partner with them to give the best advice in that area. Again, another reason why you work with a financial advisor, okay? The other thing is that I have a team of experts. Again, it's not just Kristina running this show. I have a whole team of investment professionals behind us that do many different things, right? Now, yes, I happen to work for a very large corporation. And for my corporation, great. We hire, there's, people that do stock analysis and mutual fund analysis. Those are things that I cannot waste every hour of my day doing. I have an entire team that is their responsibility. They come back to me, give me the best advice that I can in turn give to my clients. Okay, so that I can focus on the relationship we're building and the know-how to help them achieve their goals and dreams. Administrative processing, guess what? You retire. How do you turn on no longer getting a paycheck from your business or from work and starting to get a paycheck from your investments? But not only how do you turn that on, how do you do it in a way that you don't pay a bunch of taxes? Because that's going to be probably the biggest component. We have millions of people saving money in 401k plans and retirement plans. But guess what? The government, listen, especially the IRS. I always tell people the IRS is some of the smartest people in the world and some of the most patient people in the world. And they are even now changing some of the rules so that it looks like you're keeping your money longer in your pocket. But the truth is, as this national wealth transfer takes place over the next 20 or 30 years, right? Because we've got the baby boomers, the biggest set of investors in the world that are going to be transferring wealth to their children, which are people like you and me, right? When that wealth shift happens, we are going to have some of the largest taxation we've ever seen in our nation's in the years in our nations, the last 100 years. And the reason is because they have been very patient and adjusted the rules and laws in order to make some of those things happen. I'm saying that to say a good financial advisor relationship will help minimize your taxation in the long term. So when you meet with a financial advisor or planner, this is not somebody, if your investment or financial advisor is only just giving you recommendations on investments all day, that's not what we do, okay? At all. All right. That is a very small percentage of what we do. Heck, you can get AI technology and figure out which investments to buy. It is the big picture plan on how does that work with your legal, your tax person, how does that fit into all your goals? How can you plan for 2 goals at the same time? It's doing all of those things to really help you understand what you need to do, what the bottom line numbers are you need to do. You know, one of the big topics that are coming out for a lot of my friends are now starting to make a lot more money. So guess what? They're maxing out their contributions in places like doing Roth IRAs and those sort of things. Well, guess what? Do you know there's an option to do a backdoor Roth IRA? So you can still get the same benefit, but you're just doing it a different direction. Do you know that you can use life insurance as an investment tool? Now, I will caution to say I use that as an alternate opportunity once you've kind of funded some other things. But listen, my largest clients, especially my doctors, those sort of things, you know, who make $400,000 or $500,000 a year, they put $100,000 a year plus in life insurance policies because they know in retirement they can take that money out tax free, and God forbid something happened to them, they're passing on millions to their children. There are great wealth strategic building strategies that you've got to put in place. You can't just box it in and say, I'm only just going to do investing of $100 a month. That's a great place to start. But all of us are now starting to move past that bar. Real wealth is starting to come through our hands. I know it is. I can feel it. And so real wealth starting to come through our hands. We need to start thinking and doing things in a different manner. The last thing I want to say here is nothing is for free, right? I always get the question, well, what does a financial advisor cost? What does that happen? There are multiple ways to pay for a financial advisor, depending on the relationship that you want. You can pay them a fee for the investment advice, right? So meaning, you know, they will usually make a percentage off of what your investments are. The other thing is you can pay a flat fee. Maybe you want to meet with somebody every year, but you don't want to pay the recurring fee. You just maybe want a once a year kind of checkup. That's okay too. And listen, financial advisors aren't cheap. I'm not going to say they are. I don't know many financial plans that necessarily come in under $500 to $2,500 if you're going to pay for a plan directly for just a visit once a year. But that is an option. And then you also have the kind of like pay as you go plan, meaning you're investing in something and maybe you're putting in $1,000 a month and you're paying $5 a month on doing those investments. So there are many different ways. Nothing is for free. I don't care if you hear, you know, I hear a lot from people, oh, I could just go to, you know, Fidelity and they have what they call no load funds, so I'm not paying a fee. Really? So Fidelity, one of the largest investment companies in the world, doesn't make any money? They do make money. They just figure out a different way to do it off of you. I will repeat again, nothing is for free. And this is why you're hearing a lot of these things come out. I know, you know, in the last few years, we've heard Wells Fargo, we've heard Robinhood, a lot of these things that have been on the news. Every company, every investment company makes money some way. It's just a matter of how they make it. Nothing is free. But I will tell you, you can find good advisors that will give you good advice that, you know, don't just do it for the money. They do it because they are passionate about it. And yes, they make a nice living off of that, but it's not any different. I always say, you know, it's like going to the doctor. Last year, you know, I've got a lot of heart things that happened in my family. So I decided I'm going to go to the heart doctor and get checked. Right. And, you know, went to the heart doctor, you know, she says, hey, you know, you do have a family history, you know, I can run all these scans, but it's going to cost X, Y, and Z. Right. And I didn't even bat an eye. You know, my first response was, you know what, run all the tests, because I'd much rather know and get the information than not know, right? And realistically, that's the same thing when it comes to financial planning. I don't want, you know, my veterinarian operating on me. I want somebody who knows what they're doing in that space. All right, ladies. So I have went through your risk tolerance. I want you guys, again, if you've got questions, make sure that you're putting them in the chat. Went over risk tolerance. I've went over technology, websites, AI, apps. Yep. Okay. I have went over building your financial plan, and I've went over when to build strategic partnerships with a financial advisor. I want to touch base for a moment and just make sure that if you guys have any questions or comments, I definitely want us to make sure that I'm answering that. Listen, I'm here. I am trying to make sure you guys have as much information as possible. Even if you want to share your screen and come on live and ask a question, I'm okay with that too. I never feel like I've learned so much, just as all of you, right? All of you are experts in your area. When I need advice in a real estate, I don't do it myself. I go to an expert in that area. And really one of the great things about CEO Chicks is that we have a bunch of really knowledgeable, educated women that are sharing that knowledge with you to help make sure you're a well-rounded, successful person overall. And I cannot help but say to you more and more and more, like, this is what I'm passionate about. This is what I love. And I truly enjoy doing it on a daily basis. And you're right. I'm not trying. I absolutely am. I've spent over almost 25 years now in the financial industry. I've now, I'm in $100 million office. I'm starting to get all these offers for all these accolades. But the truth of the matter is, when it really comes down to it, the conversations I have right here on these chats with women I know, with women I love, is what exactly excites me. I know what God's purpose is for my life. So it doesn't matter. All those things are great. I've got so many good things that are happening in my life from a professional perspective, but these conversations, changing your financial life, changing your financial future is why I'm here, why I'm still part of this group, and why I make sure that anytime I can share, I absolutely am willing and able to. All right, I am not seeing any other questions. I want to make sure. Oh, wait, what's the best way to start financial investing on a small scale for somebody new to all this? Again, definitely can just download an app, right? You can download, I'm not going to say necessarily use Robinhood, but it could be something similar to that. But you also, even if you're starting small, don't be afraid to go see a financial advisor, even if you're starting small. A lot of advisors have the capability to get you up and running and started. So don't be afraid to do that. I often have people come to my office who maybe are just starting with $100 a month and they just want to invest on a regular basis. My only ask is just be committed to your financial goals, and let's make sure we meet once a year so that you're on track. So don't be afraid to start out with a financial advisor either. But Miss Lisa, I saw your question. Like I said, you can use an app. You can go to the websites and get started. You Google any of those. You can private message me. I'm going to share my information in just a second, and I can share some of those things with you. I am going to sit my contact information here, my phone number here in Central Florida. I am in the Orlando area. However, I am licensed in 32 states across the United States. And truthfully, it could be licensed in any state I want to, if I want. So if you're in a state I'm not in, I'm definitely happy to help you. My email address is there, as well as my website. Again, whatever wealth of knowledge I can be to you can certainly find me on all social media as Money Lady Kristina, and you can direct message me, and I will be happy to respond. I do run a very busy practice. I have a team of 5 that work with me and growing every single year. And so if I can't get back to you immediately, one of those will, absolutely. Right? My AI pick turned out amazing. So, but yeah, absolutely, ladies. Anything that you need, please do not hesitate to reach out. We are right at 50 minutes. I want to make sure I'm respectful of your time. Again, love this group. Know that we're doing amazing things. Colleen, I don't know if you want to jump on. I know we've got some things coming up. If you wanted to share anything, definitely want to open that up for also. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, sure. We have a few things. All the coaches, thank you so much. Nikki, you sent that directly to me. Nikki said very informative class. Thanks, Coach Kristina. But yeah, we have a lot going on. So definitely keep us all lifted in prayer. Right now, our focus, ladies, is leadership. We have seats open in our board. We're looking for VP, member, coordinator, membership coordinator, fundraiser. We need all hands on deck for all the opportunities that are coming our way. I am one person, y'all. I say it all the time. I'm like, I know I do the job of 5, but that's getting played out. So I'm like, we would love, love, love to have some of you ladies on our board, on our team. So if you're interested, email admin@ceochicksonline.com. We definitely need all hands on deck. We're focusing on raising funds so that we can create our own grant. And that grant is going to be used to pour right back into your businesses. So I'm looking forward to seeing that initiative come to pass as of next year. So if you could reach out, or if you know someone that you're like, this person is super qualified, I could see her being a CEO chick, then definitely. Also look out for emails that are going to be coming to you in regards to just meeting with me. I want to do some just masterminding with our members to see what we can do to deepen our connection, how we can serve you at a greater level. And just continue to share what we're doing. Refer people to this group. Let them know, like, we're here. That people that are part of this network can be parts of other networks. Like some of us, I'm a part of a network, several networks. So it's definitely, we're coming from a place of abundance. So that is that. Any other events coming up, I will share. Thank you so much. This was a great, great class. You guys make sure you email Coach Kristina. And yeah, I think that's it for now. Keep us lifted in prayer. Thank you, Coach Chris.
Absolutely. Thank you, ladies. Have a blessed day.